What happens if you don't get off at the last station of the subway? Usually you get on the subway, you go to your station, then you get out. And if your station is the last station, then it takes a while, but then you're definitely out. But what happens if you don't? What if you just stay in there? Where do you go? What comes after? Is there life after the last station? Is it like a heaven for cars, subway wagons, where they go to replenish and relax and sleep and have a cozy time until the next day when they start training again? Training meaning because they're trained, so I don't mean that they're training actually something for something. Anyhow, or is it something bad? Or is it some type of train hell, but they just, go in circles at some doomsday roundabout forever? So many questions. But I'm here and I have the answers because I've been there. I've been there. I've been at the train wagon of the subway after the last station. How this happened to me? Maybe somebody's wondering. Well, it's simple. I do this podcast where I talk about stories from my experience living abroad. So part of the reason how this happened is because I live abroad. And that is a reason and an excuse potentially for a lot of weird things to happen to me. Because you're not accustomed to the environment, things start happening. The other reason is that I just happen to be this type of person, but all the weird things somehow happen too. And I know that I'm not the only one, of course. I know that each and every one of you has at least one person, okay, that all those weird, but nothing goes according to plan for them. Okay, everything goes somewhat off. All the weird things are happening to them. You give them all the instructions for going to do something or to buy something or to meet someone or to try something, and they always come back confused and with a crazy story to tell you. And it's crazy. It just keeps happening and it never stops. It happens so much that at the end you're not even surprised. They are still surprised. They're still as shocked as possible. But isn't it crazy that this happened? I mean, yeah, sure, it is. It would be if it was somebody else that it happened to. Then I would say, yes, indeed, it's crazy, but it's you we're talking about. I mean, the weird thing would be if nothing weird happened. So that's me. So one of those things that happened to me is getting stuck in the train after the train has after it's bedtime. Let's put it that way. I know there's people like me out there. You need to know. I need to equip you with the knowledge that you need for this to not happen to you, or if it happens to you, to see a sliver of hope, to know that you can be fine. How did this come to be? It sounds like the kind of thing that for it to happen, you have to try, Like you have to try, you have to miss a series of multiple consecutive stations, one after the other, and then at the last station, when everybody leaves the train, you need to have this immense confidence in yourself that, they don't know what they're losing and you have to stay in and hold your ground. First of all, I live in a different country. What happened after I moved to Sweden? And I use the subway, of course. I use the subway a lot. I actually really like the subway. So if you go to a subway and it's a little bit, it looks that you have to be a little bit careful. It looks like you might get mugged. It looks like you might get jumped by different insects and or mammals. You have to keep an eye around. Okay, this sounds bad, but honestly I don't think it's that bad because it forces you to be alert. Okay, you're not just standing there passively going. You are actively listening, watching, and trying to survive to the next station. But if the subway is relaxing and cozy and makes you feel like, oh, I could take a nap here, just relaxes you, this is actually more dangerous because then you leave your guard down, and then that's when things start happening. That's what happened to me. It's kind of relaxing, it's clean and tidy, and everybody leaves you, and it's really quiet, really quiet. I mean, at times you could be hearing nothing, absolutely nothing. Because it's not for granted that two people who know each other just because they know each other or they're friends or they're couple or whatever, and they are on the subway together, they're gonna talk. No, most likely they're not gonna talk. The only people you hear talking in the subway is people who literally just met. And I mean just met. I mean, new co-workers, new students from the new class, people who are, situations where if you don't talk to this new person, it's gonna be more awkward. But everybody who knows each other for at least a tiny bit more, no words. No words to be said on the subway. So what do we have here? We have a little bit of an art show, relaxing, cozy seats, absolute quiet, nobody's talking, and a nice, lovely, shaking of the train, which is just fantastic. And what does this result in? You are chilling. You're taking a little bit of a nap, maybe not a deep nap, but you're relaxing. You're closing your eyes. So I'm relaxing, I'm closing my eyes, and I'm listening to the stations. And I'm certain that when I hear my station, I will just jump up and get out because this is who I am and this is what I do. Okay, I have confidence in myself that I will show up when the time comes. It's actually extremely easy to lose your station. If you just get a little bit distracted or something has gone differently that day in the train departure and in the train scheduling, you lost it. You snooze, you lose. That's how trains work, unfortunately. I probably heard Tsakoumi. There's no reason for me to know what this means, final station. There's no way I would ever guess that. And then, of course, I mean, if I had seen it, had I seen it written, I would still not guess that, and I would actually be a bit surprised because it's like the slut station, and then the next thing that happens is that everybody gets out of the train in a hurry. So that is a whole little interesting event in itself. So everybody leaves the train, I assume, I don't know, I didn't see them, I had my eyes closed. And that is the time when you're supposed to step up, to offer assistance to your fellow human, to your fellow passenger, and say, hey, tap, 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 tap. I don't know what's wrong with you, but unless you want to go to the area after train afterlife, you should come out with us in the land of the living and the walking humans. Come on, come. You will sleep somewhere else. Okay, that's not a nice place. Didn't happen. Didn't happen, you guys. So what happened was I was laying there with my eyes closed. Everybody left the train. Every single person. Train is completely empty. And I have no idea. No idea what's going on. And then I hear like a tick, tick, tick on on the window. Because I was on the window, I had my head on the window, just laying down. And right by my ear, I hear this tap, 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 tap. And I'm like, you know, like, it's too early, let me sleep situation. Pop, 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 pop. Again, I turn and I see this guy who is knocking at the window. And I look at him and he looks at me. And I look annoyed, actually. I was a little bit annoyed. I was like, what do you want? Did you say I'm sleeping? Did you see that I'm sleeping here? What do you want? What do you want from me? And I don't know you. You don't look familiar. And you're waking me up from my cozy train nap? How dare you? How dare you? Just go around. What do you want? And then I go back to sleep. I completely ignore him and I close my eyes again. And then he knocks again. And I'm like, the audacity. Who does this man think he is? And what does he want anyways? I don't know him. I've never seen him before. I open my eyes, I see him again. He nods to me to come out. I'm like, I didn't even answer to you and you need me to come out? We reached this moment now in our relationship, but you're gonna order me where to be? And then I look around me and I realize the whole train is empty. Everything's empty. And the second I see this, the train starts. And I turn and I look at the guy and I look at him with horror and he looks at me also with horror. Like he wasn't annoyed at all for my behavior, who was dismissive and ungrateful. He was scared for me. We look at each other with horror and then the train just goes. And I mean, goes. I mean, I had no idea those trains can run at that speed. I mean, it's a subway, it's pretty fast already, it's pretty fast on a regular day. But this was different. This felt like we left the, how do you say, the thing that you run on? You know, like we left the bottom completely. That didn't feel like train speed, that felt like spaceship speed. That felt like we're gonna make it like, you know, Gulmer's plan and then straight away Mars. That was crazy. And I fall on my seat and I've just fallen there and I can't move. I can't get up because of how fast it's going. It's inside those, you know, those subway tunnels and it's just going through subway tunnels. I don't think we passed any stations at all. It was just tunnel, going deeper and deeper and deeper. I don't know where exactly. And it keeps going. I'm stuck there. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be fine. I think they're gonna go to like the other side, whatever the other side is. I think they're just gonna do, you know, because in my head, trains work kind of like bus. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is final station, which is gonna go like all around to the first station. And then leave the train there so they're ready to, you know, pick it up in the morning. I don't know where I got this idea from, honestly. I don't know why I think that subway works like some type of bus in a very, very small town. I can't explain it. But that was my best guess, right? So I kept my confidence, I kept my optimism. I'm sitting there and I'm and I'm waiting to make it to the first station. But then the train just stops. It stops and I get up and there's nothing. It's just train, tunnel. Nothing else. It's very interesting to see how the screaming evolves because the screaming at first starts a little bit more, you know, polite. The screaming at first is like, I want to scream, but I don't want to make it. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, okay? It can be like a friendly tap on the shoulder. I can scream like, sorry, excuse me, I'm here, you know. Apologize also for the fact that I have to scream to begin with. Okay, it's an apologetic scream. This is how it begins. But then the lights go out. And I'm there in the dark. Absolute total darkness. And that is when the screaming starts to become a lot less considerate. This is when you start going to one word, help, or just sounds, just vowels. Honestly, just just that. I've never screamed like this in my entire life. It was insane. I didn't know I could scream like that. Okay, I didn't know it was possible. It was like, oh, you know how sometimes in movies they take people in some place in the height of a mountain and they scream just to get it out? Well, I got out everything. I got out everything I had and a lot of stuff like preliminary for the future. If it wasn't that horrifying, it could have been pretty cathartic, you know? I've never screamed like that in my life. Never. And I'm just screaming and screaming and screaming. And I would assume that I would be more scared because I don't like the darkness very much. So I would assume that I would be really scared if this happened to me. If you told me that this would happen, I would assume that I would just be horrified. But the adrenaline was so strong, I didn't even have space in my head to be scared. So I was just screaming, and within my screams, somebody heard me. No surprise there. I mean, I'm surprised not everybody in the city heard me, but somebody heard me. And then I saw the door opening, and there was a guy standing there. It was probably the driver. And immediately, I do the responsible thing and I start apologizing. Pretty much any conversation I started by apologizing. Okay, I've gotten it off the way. I don't know why. I'm just trying to eliminate possibilities of stuff that I can be blamed for. Okay, in this case, I very much can be blamed for being an idiot and getting myself stuck on the train, so I just want it off the way as soon as possible. So start by apologizing. I'm so sorry. I'm not from here. I don't know Swedish. Good excuse. Good excuse. I kind of fell asleep. I didn't understand how everybody got out. Okay, excuses. Still, we're going strong. Nobody told me anything. Nobody, woke me up to get out on time. This is half truth, and also, now we're starting to blame others. Now we're starting to go a little bit more aggressive, and I don't know what am I apologizing for exactly. I mean, all I have to do is just get out. The guy came there. He opened the door. I'm free to go theoretically. What exactly was I afraid of? I have no idea. Like, was I afraid that maybe he will be mad? Maybe he will assume that I planned it, that I actually wanted to go to a different area that the train wasn't actually going. And I thought, oh, I don't care. I'm just gonna stay. No, that's the last station. No, I say what's the last station. I'm gonna go stay there until we make it to my station, and then my station will be the last station. Thank you very much. The guy looked at me and said something that I, to this day, cannot believe. I think about it like at least once a month. I'm serious. Every single month. Every single time I go to the subway, I think about it. I don't think that anyone has ever been that nice to me. He looks at me and he says, okay, okay, I understand. Don't worry. I'll drive you. I'll drive you. What station are you going to? I'll drive you. At this point, I'm thinking, oh, he will drive me personally with his car? I mean, that sounds a little bit maybe unsafe, but also it's super nice of him. But then he continues, and then he says, what station? And then I start getting the first glimpses of what this could be, which is like, I can't believe. Is it what I think it is? Is he going to actually drive me with the whole train back? Like, can he do that? Is this something that the Tunnelbana drivers do just to clean their head? They go down, take the train, go up and down a couple of routes, and and then park it back at the final station. I don't know. All of this is a new world to me. Okay, remember, it's my first time getting stuck, and hopefully the last too. But it's not something I have experience with. I haven't worked as a tunnelbana driver. I mean, subway. Tunnelbana is Swedish for subway. I don't know. I answer the question and I say, I'm going to that station. That's my station. And I don't know what's going to happen then. What is going to be the next step? Is he going to say, oh, okay, yeah, that's on my way. Come on, I will drive you? Or is he going to just jump to the front of the subway and drive me? And indeed, I say my station and he says, oh, okay, no problem. And then he just closes the door and walks to the front of the subway train. And then the subway train just starts, and it's super fast again. Super fast again. He goes to the crazy spaceship mode. At this point, I feel almost lucky, honestly, because who gets to have this experience? Say you're this kind of crazy person and you wanna be driven alone in the subway. And say you even have the money and you can book the whole subway to yourself just to be driven alone in the subway. I don't think it's allowed. I don't think it's possible. I don't think you can get a permit for that. But you know what? I've been there. I have this experience now. And I can't say that I'm proud because the way I made it is out of stupidity, but somehow I feel a little bit rewarded for all this horror that I previously had and my very loud screams, of course, that became very useful. But so I'm actually at this point, I'm actually kind of enjoying this. I'm relaxing, it's going super fast. My hair is blowing at the, well, it's not exactly a wind, but at the acceleration. I'm looking around all the scary and tunnels. I'm looking around at the stations. We pass several stations. I'm looking outside at the stations. All those people waiting to take their train, all together, crumbled. Not like me. Not everybody gets to have this luck, of course. At this point, honestly, almost I don't want the drive to be over. It's too much fun. It's too much fun. And I have to buckle up and be like, you know what? I have to enjoy this. I have to really enjoy this. This is a unique opportunity, but I will never again have in my entire life to be in the train alone. The whole train, just me and the driver. Okay? I mean, there is no limousine long enough in this world. There's nothing that can compare to that. Eventually we made it to my station and I got off my station nicely and safely, and there were people there waiting for their communal trains. And now I'm safely at my place. I have to thank the driver, right? I have to thank him. I mean, that was unprecedented. That was awesome. I have to say thanks. But this is not a car. I can't just like wave little hi, whisper thank you, and then tap two times at the bottom of the car for like good luck or for whatever this is that people do this for. And then to make it even worse, it's a station, there's people there. There's people there that are waiting for their other trains that they share, and they're looking at me because I'm there too. If I do what I'm thinking to do, they I'm gonna look like a crazy person to them. But seriously, who do I care for? Who do I care more for? The person who saved me? The driver, my personal driver who saved me and drove me all the way back? Or those strangers who honestly, if they were on the train with me, maybe they would even let me sleep through the Slutstation. Maybe they're the same people who let me sleep through the Slutstation. Most likely, they would just let me sleep. They would let me sleep through the last station and nobody would wake me up, shake me, or anything. Maybe one of them, if I'm lucky, could little bit knock on the glass. That's all I can hope for from those people. My people, my fellow passengers who betrayed me. And those guys at this station, this day, those people that were just waiting for the train to come, they saw something. They saw something that you don't see every day. Let's put it that way. Something that is a little bit uncommon. They saw a woman come out of a train and then turn towards the empty train as the doors are closing, move her hands up and down, jumping like crazy, like trying to make a sign, and scream, "Thank you! Thank you!" towards the empty train. And then she looked back and just went about her way. if this was a different subway, if this was like the New York subway, right, or some other place, that would be a minor incident. Nobody would care at all. This would be the least. It would be almost cute, I assume, I suppose. But those people in Stockholm, I think I scared the shit out of those people. Seriously. I think they, next time that they were going to go in the subway, they thought about it for a second. You know, they chose to stand a little bit closer to the exit that day. So here's what happened. Here's the whole story, how I got stuck, what happened then, and how I got out again. I mean, please don't try to not do that intentionally. Don't go and get stuck and then hope to get out, because honestly I don't know if this is like a standard protocol or just one extremely nice guy. So I'm not gonna exactly recommend this but it's more to say that even if you get yourself really in trouble in an environment that is unfamiliar, there's gonna be somebody that will help you out of it, likely, hopefully. If you enjoyed this, you might also enjoy this time that I was unable of opening a bank account and ended up going to like 7 different banks. Or you might enjoy that other time when I lost my keys and had nowhere to go. I mean, if this is your thing, you're in the right place. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you around.